What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. Today's positive motivational message is be mindful of your time, because time is genuinely the most valuable thing that we have. You want to spend your time wisely. Don't waste your time. But most importantly, be appreciative of the time that you've had and be grateful for the time that you still have. Because time is the inevitable thing that we will run out of. Some people's time gets cut shorter than others, and eventually we will run out of time ourselves. So in this moment, right now, be mindful. Think about the time that you have with your friends and your family. Be grateful for that time. Appreciate it. And don't waste your time. Make sure while you have time to spend it wisely. Because again, it is by far the most valuable thing that we have. And right now, we're about to have a good time getting into today's episode. It is episode 209 of Life's a Garden. Thank you all so much for joining me yet again on another amazing week. If you haven't yet, I like to always remind everybody out there, please like, share, subscribe, follow on all platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get podcasts. Let the people out there know to follow. Let's help grow this garden, and it is always very much appreciated. And my God, has it been absolute hell temperatures out there. Like literally hot as hell. Do apologize if you hear the AC unit in the background, but it ain't coming off. No chance. It has been unbearably hot. Literally, I believe 5 straight days of 100+ degree weather. And then I think we're going to dip down into the 90s and then back into the hundreds again. So no relief whatsoever in sight for that. So that's terrific. Yeah, I can't stand hot weather. I don't know how people in Phoenix do it, or anywhere in the South for that matter. Phoenix is notoriously always super hot. Vegas is another one because they're in the goddamn desert. I don't get it. I don't understand how people can survive that. I mean, work has been absolute hell because of the heat, and, you know, for other reasons than the heat. Here's the thing. Anytime I come back from a vacation, it enlightens me. Like, I talked about it last week, how good vacations are, and how good they are just to, like, give you a nice little restart, you know? And I thought maybe I'd come back to work a little bit refreshed, right? I'd come back with, just rested and had gotten the monotony of my life out of the way for a little while, and then we get back into it. I thought it'd be nice, you know, I'd be able to come back real smooth and fresh and working hard, you know? This time around, it wasn't really the case, because what I've come to realize is I love vacation. I love the weekends. I love having days off of work, because work sucks. Work is bullshit. The only purpose for work for me is so that I can afford to do the fun things I like to do on vacation, on the weekends. It's the only reason I go to work. The actual activity of working is bullshit, in my opinion. And the reason, so I come back from vacation, I just got done spending 5 days just enjoying life, getting to hang out, just chill, go do fun things, and then I gotta come back and start punching a time clock again. Again, time, right? I feel like I'm wasting time when I could be doing things that are fun, I could be doing things that are productive, but instead I'm at work. And on top of already just being frustrated that I'm even there and having to do this bullshit that I've done day in and day out, I gotta deal with 100-degree temperatures. So, all week, just been absolutely irritable for all those reasons. It's like, you almost get perspective when you come back from a break, especially when you've had a good time, and you're like, God, if only I just had enough money to never have to do this again. Because I absolutely wouldn't. If I had enough money that I could just chill and like go on vacations, go places, go to concerts, sleep in, hang out all night and sleep all day, I have no issue with that. That has become the lifestyle that I enjoy. I hate waking up early and going to work. I hate the monotony of doing the same thing day in and day out. And it probably doesn't help that, lately at work, it's been a little slower, so there's been a lot of downtime. And in my downtime, I'm just dripping sweat because it's hot as balls back there. So maybe this is just a minor time for me to be frustrated and for me to be unhappy with working. But ultimately, I do truly feel like work itself, the idea of work forever till we die, is bullshit. It sucks. It's like, there's nothing fun sounding about it, really. Like, we're just a slave to our job so that we can we can pay for the other things that we're slaves to, the debt that we are enslaved to, the taxpayers, the taxes and everything else that comes along with it that we are basically slaves to. Once you kind of start thinking about it, you're like, damn, is this really worth anything? Is this really worth it all? Just to do this till we die? Sounds like a waste of time to me. And as I said, we need to treat time with more value. Now I'll say this about the heat. As much as I fucking hate it, you know what is always great on a hot summer day? An ice cold Pepsi. Now, I bet you thought I was going to say beer, because usually that's what I'm drinking on this show. And honestly, I don't drink a lot of soda. I really don't. Like, I used to drink soda like a madman. Before I started drinking beer, soda was the go-to. And every now and again, I'll get a soda, if I'm going to get some fast food, or every now and again, barbecue is a nice place to have a cold soda. But I'm over the last, 4 or 5 years, I really cut back on my soda intake, which almost makes them even better when you do have one. And my go-to, I'm a Coors Light guy. When it comes to soda, I am 100% genuinely a Pepsi guy. Oh my God, that just hits different. It really does. Like I said, when you start drinking soda, if you're a daily soda drinker, I think it just loses its luster a little bit. And in my age, I've gotten pretty sensitive to sweets. Like, I don't really have as much of a sweet tooth anymore. And sweet beverages for sure are lower on my tier of things I want to consume. But for any of you out there that want to argue that Coke is better than Pepsi, you are absolutely bonkers out of your mind. Like, I get the nostalgia flavor of Pepsi, or of Coke. I get, like, if you grew up on Coke, that makes sense, I guess. But there is no world where the flavor profile of Coke is better than Pepsi. Pepsi is way crisper. I think it's carbonated better. Every time I have a Coke, it tastes flat, like immediately. And it always tastes like kind of warm, even when it's cold. To me, Pepsi just always goes down smooth. Well, it's a little crisp, and just cold. A cold, nice, perfectly sweetened beverage. Plus, when you see all the absolute, like, the things that Coke does to, like, enamel and to, like, the things, like, you can clean and dissolve in Coke it just makes it even less appetizing to want. But I'll tell you what, Pepsi reigns supreme all day for me. Always has and always will. I do like me a nice cold Pepsi. And you know what? Side shout out to Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper, super underrated soda. Root beer's another good one. But root beer is kind of one of those ones that I have to have on the occasion. That's like a when the moment strikes type of soda. And another one that flies under the radar, especially on a hot summer day, Sunkist. Sunkist, bro, on a summer day, it's top notch. Top notch. Now, speaking of soda and sweets and drinking and all that and eating fast food, I am officially a fat piece of shit. Like, this is something I've kind of hinted at the last few weeks or the last few months. I truly believe I am the fattest I've ever been. I'm just a fat, out-of-shape piece of shit. And I have talked about on this podcast multiple times about getting back into a workout routine, about dieting. There's been plenty of episodes where I almost fully dedicated it to talking about health is wealth, eating well, trying to stay in shape. But I don't know why, I can't explain it to you. Whatever it is, whatever my lifestyle changes have been, I just have not been living up to that. I have just been consuming. I've been lazy. Now don't get me wrong, like there are, I still do my softball league. Stage when I'm performing is definitely active. My work, like I said, I sweat a lot at work. I'm up moving. It's not like a desk job. So it's not like I'm not getting any activity, but not the activity that I am previously used to putting out. I don't know if it's a mindset thing. I don't know if it's just a physical thing. Whatever it is, it's been pretty bad. And I gotta be completely honest with you. I'm unhappy with what I see in the mirror. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, fuck, man. This is not what I want. This is not what but I can only blame myself, right? That's the ultimate sucky thing about it. I look at myself and I say, God, this is not where I want to be. But I know the only way to fix it is to make changes in my lifestyle. I need to stop. And I know the ultimate thing, the number one thing that's causing this is alcohol. I know it. Like, it's not a secret. It's nothing that I'm, like, unaware of or am blinded to. The amount of beer I consume is definitely the reason for my absolute weight gain. If I cut out beer, it would help tremendously. It also doesn't help that when I drink late at night, I want to go get some Taco Bell, or it's just easier to eat out at the bars and stuff, and that's all just like fast food, or no, fried food. So the food isn't been good. And I was thinking about this too. It's like, in reality, unless you really go out of your way, for the casual American, for the casual person, it is damn near, it's not impossible, but it is very difficult. Actually, you know what? I will use the word impossible because I'm going to change the lingo of how I was going to say this. It is damn near impossible to eat good things, to eat like tasty things that you enjoy that aren't fried, bread, or highly processed. Nearly impossible. And I'm not talking about, I know it could be easy to eat healthier things. Like, you just got to go out, you actually, like, actively have to go out of your way to eat salad and fruits and vegetables and make sure you're being very mindful of what you're putting in your body, right? It's not that difficult, but it is difficult to do that and eat things that are awesome. Like, you know, like a pizza. Pizza's my number one food. I love a burger. I love, you know, like steak is good. But even steak, you know, you got to get it at the right place or it's still, like, not very great. And everybody talks shit on red meat and whatnot. But burgers got the bread. Pizza's got breading. And, like, it's all processed shit half the time. It's damn near impossible to be able to eat well and also not hate your fucking life. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can eat healthy, but you're not going to enjoy it. And maybe eventually you do come along to it. But no, I like food. I like pasta. I like Mexican food. I like a lot of stuff that's just not great for you. And obviously the other thing is eating in excess. You want to eat less. You got to portion control yourself a little bit. If I cut out the beer alone, I know for a fact I would definitely start losing the weight. Plus, then you get the inflammation and all that shit, and that definitely bogs you down. It definitely makes you sluggish and all that shit. And I know for a fact that that's what's going on. I get bored. And what do I do when I get bored? I like to go out. And typically it involves me going to watch a football game or, you know, go out with my friends, and genuinely what we do is we end up drinking. It's just that's just what I end up doing. Hell, even if we go bowling or if we go to softball, I'm drinking there. That's just part of it for me. And I'm not drinking to like I'm not drinking so much to black out, but it's just part of like the social routine. And when you add day after day after day of drinking, you know, 6-7 beers every day, that's pretty, you know, you're not doing your body a service. Let's put it that way. And then even yesterday, like, I had a great weekend. I had a fun weekend. Great time. Yesterday, where did I go? I went to Brews and Barbecue. I drank a bunch of craft beers and ate fried chicken strips. That's what I did yesterday. And then I went to the Outlaws game at night, ate a burger, and drank a couple more beers. That's like what I've been doing, man. Everything I do involves eating shitty food and drinking beer. And here's the thing. It's not a cry for help. I'm not like complaining about it. I enjoy doing those things. It's not a problem to me, but it is affecting my physical form. And I hate that. So it's a catch-22. And I basically just got to find moderation and all that. You know, maybe I just need y'all just to fat shame me, right? I need people to come up and just tell me what a piece of shit I am. Then maybe I'll kick my ass in gear and get the ball rolling, right? So if anybody sees me out in public, just tell me, dude, you look like shit. Maybe think about picking up a salad once in a while, fat ass. You know, just completely degrade me. Make me feel worthless. Just make me feel like the pig that I am. The pig man that I am. And maybe that's going to be enough to get me into shape. Write in the comments what a fat fucking load I am. Tell me to pick up the weights, go for some runs, do something. And maybe that'll be what I need to kick my ass in gear. Because I went out and I enjoyed a bunch of pale ales, and now I'm an absolute pale whale. I am the pale whale. That's just what it is. So, bring it on. Maybe that's what I need. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But either way, I'm a fat load. And this is the other, like, conundrum that I've had, like, within my own brain, is, do I... Because genuinely, when I look at when I think about where I'm at, when I'm laying in bed and I'm looking at my fat ass belly, or I'm looking in the mirror and I'm just like, I see my fucking love handles sagging down, I'm like, ugh, you know, I'm not pleased with that. But at the same time, I enjoy the lifestyle that I live. I enjoy going out. I genuinely do. Genuinely do. I love going out. I love spending time with my friends. I like having some beers. I like going to watch sports and eating chicken wings and fucking, I like that stuff. So the conundrum that I have is, do I just, do I give up all that stuff and start hammering it home, working out, eating healthy, getting on a regimen? Or do I just accept the fact that this is who I am now? Do I just accept the fact that, hey, if you want to live this lifestyle, you're going to have to give up looking the way you want to look. You're just going to have to become the pale whale, right? Like, is this is the conundrum that I'm at. Because there's been times when I'm like, maybe this is just who I am. Maybe I just have to accept the fact that I'm going to be a fat guy. And live with it. So, we'll see. We'll see where this journey goes. Like I said, maybe your fat shaming of me will actually work in the sense of it is. But in the meantime, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to enjoy my ice cold Pepsi and probably go have some beers tonight. God knows. God knows. All right, let's turn here for a quick moment. Got to talk about some real serious shit because this just went down yesterday and it is wild. Former President Donald Trump and current candidate for the Republican Party was almost assassinated yesterday. Crazy to even think of that. Like, I mean, at the same time, is it? Because there's been, I mean, this goes back to Obama. Like, I truly thought there was going to be attempts on Obama's life when I was, back when he was president. Trump, the first time around, I could see there being assassination attempts against him. And I didn't really feel that way with Joe Biden. Honestly, if there were going to be assassination attempts to Joe Biden, I would have expected it to be like an inside job just so they could like get him out of there and put in whoever else they wanted. But I think every president, because we've seen several presidents get assassinated, pretty much since Kennedy, it's been one of those things where it's like, this could happen at any time, any place. We saw Reagan almost get assassinated. That was a little bit different, I suppose, because that was some weird fucking just delusional dude that was trying to, what was his motive? He was like trying to impress some actress. Isn't that what it was? Farrah Fawcett or something like that? I don't remember. It was weird. But this one is pretty, I've watched a lot of stuff about this. So, at first when I saw it, it didn't seem like, because of the way, because they did clip his ear. So, it went right beside his head, the shooter. And I'm like, at first when I'm looking at it, because you can see him bleeding, I was like, well, did they use a real gun or did they use a pellet gun or like, because that's like, that is a miracle for him to have just gotten nicked on the ear. 1 centimeter over, you're looking at some real problems. If he's standing just slightly, if he moves slightly over at that exact moment, done for, goner. And I wasn't sure, because it's hard to tell in audio. It doesn't really sound like gunshots. But when you see the crowd absolutely panicking, it became very clear very fast that it was definitely gunshots. Secret Service eliminated the guy, eliminated the shooter, and unfortunately, somebody in the audience was struck and killed, and 2 other people were struck and are critically wounded. And that is the ultimate tragedy of this all. Not just the fact that there was an attempt on a former president's life, but the fact that there was an attempt on anybody's life is a tragedy. And the fact that innocent bystanders fell victim to this maniac. Now, whatever the motive for this guy, because apparently he was a 20-year-old kid, basically, right? 20-year-old guy from Pennsylvania. They're trying to figure out if he acted alone or if this was like part of a bigger, if there was a bigger plan among other people. There's a lot, there's an investigation that needs to go on. This is just within 24 hours that this happened that I'm speaking about it. So there's a lot of information to still come out or that we need to discover. But from what we know right now, he was a 20-year-old kid from Pennsylvania. He was the only one that they found there on the scene. Very odd to think that he was even able to get on a rooftop with sights on the former president. And so, and they had gunmen on the building behind him, right? They had Secret Service gunmen on the building behind Donald Trump, and they were the ones that took out the shooter. So it's just odd to think that they wouldn't have secured that other building. And there was testimony from a eyewitness that said that they had seen a Trump rally the previous election cycle in the same town, and wherever they did that rally, there was a lot of buildings around, and they said there were snipers on every single building, like several snipers. And the witness said that this time around, there was like almost none. There was barely any. So he said it seemed odd to see that there was what he interpreted as less security measures this time around as opposed to last time around. And you would think this time around, you'd want higher security measures considering Trump has kind of become a more like divisive figure to a lot of people. And that's the main thing, right? That's the thing right now is, and you, I suppose you could assume that there might be attempts on Joe Biden's life throughout his presidency because there's just been so much political division between both parties, which I find completely ridiculous. Like, I think it's crazy. I get it, though. People are going to be at odds. People are going to debate. People are going to get heated in those debates. But never should political disagreement result in violence of the nature, especially into the nature of death. It should never come to that. No matter what you believe, I don't give if it's religious reasons. Like, so many wars have been fought over religion, right? I don't care if it's a religious based, if it's politically motivated, if it's just socially, whatever it is, whatever your motivation for murder or violence, it should never come to that. Because ultimately, regardless of what you believe, we are still humans. We still breathe the same air. We still bleed the same color. It doesn't matter what you're at odds with. You should at least be able to sympathize and empathize with another human being. And it should never come to violence. I hate when people justify violence as at any means necessary. As a means. The only time violence should be okay as a means of necessary is if your life is being threatened or others' lives are being threatened by somebody else who is trying to commit violence. But never over some bullshit disagreement. I don't care if it's race-based, if it's gender-based, sexual orientation, whatever your disagreements are, whatever you don't align with, there's no need to harm someone else over that. And it's so unfortunate that some just innocent person that was attending a Trump rally lost their life. Apparently this guy was a fireman. He dove on his family, his wife and kids at that rally. He dove on them to protect them and made the ultimate sacrifice and lost his life for it. And now that family is without a loved one. And prayers to the two that are in critical condition. It's crazy. Like I said, we have not seen anything like this in a very long time. An actual assassination attempt on a U.S. president. It's been a while since we've seen something like this. Like I said, I think Reagan was the last one. There's definitely been threats, but never like actual gunfire toward an active or former president. And, yeah, it's just a tragedy all around. But you know what's... I don't know if that kid's motivation was, you know, he was anti-Trump. I mean, clearly he was, obviously. I mean, you could say... Here's the thought behind it, because you could say he was anti-Trump, which makes obviously the most sense. He wanted to eliminate Trump. He hates Trump, or he hates the Republican Party, or he hates, you know, whatever Trump stands for. That's very, very possible and probably the most likely scenario. But you could also say he just wanted to be famous. He just wanted to do something crazy. He just wanted to make some kind of grand, you know, staple on history. Who knows? Really, who knows? He was a 20-year-old dude. Like, obviously, that's a very confusing time, and we've seen this happen time and time again with these young kids who just, like, shoot up schools and do this wild shit, this, like, heinous stuff. But if his motivation was, in fact, to kill Donald Trump and to eliminate him from the political race at all, the fact that he didn't kill him, pretty much, like, I think it boosted his chances. Let's say that. I'm not going to say it guaranteed victory, but that, dude, that image of him surrounded by Secret Servicemen, blood pouring down the side of his face, holding up a fist, and an American flag flying above him, that, truth be told, no matter what political side you fall on, that might go down as one of the most badass pictures in the history of anything. Just the fact that that was captured. They're going to use that image throughout the rest of this campaign. It will help galvanize so many people. The fact that now they can use the idea that they want him out so bad that they are willing to eliminate him. They are going to use that as just a selling point or whatever. They're going to use that to motivate people to vote for him. And if you ask me, this only made his campaign push stronger. And that's just me, I'm not speaking as somebody who's hopeful that happens. You know me, I'm still on the RFK train. I still would, of all the candidates, of the three people running, that's the guy that I would want. That's still the guy that I would want. But speaking realistically, from everything we've seen throughout history, and from what I know about the American people, and the way people think, and the way that they're going to run with this, it being so close to election time already, I just don't see how he loses. Shit, I mean, this follows just right after an absolute horrible performance by Joe Biden in the debate. So much so that all, like, the entire left-wing media is now actually saying that they don't know that he's capable of running. They're kind of turning on Joe Biden. And then shortly after that, you have an assassination attempt against Trump, where he's going to come out basically unscathed. The fact that it's all, dude, it's seriously almost story-esque. It's almost like, and I would never assume that this was planned, right? I would never assume that this was, like, staged, because first of all, innocent people died, and just the absolute possibility for error is too large, you know. For it to have grazed his ear like that, a body part that is, you know, the top of your ear is like, you don't need that, right? Like, that's such a useless part of your body. But enough to garner blood. The image of him bleeding, holding up a fist, after pandemonium is breaking out, the crowd is chanting USA. Dude, it's like it was written in a book. And Sarah Stewart, who was on the show not long ago, we were talking last night, and she was saying, I've never seen this. It's very reminiscent of, I think she said, American Horror Story. I think that's what she said. It was either that or, what's that other show? Black Mirror. It was either American Horror Story or Black Mirror. She said it was reminiscent of, like, some episodes of that, where basically the same thing happened. So, it's crazy. And I'm just telling you, I'm just giving you my personal thoughts and opinion. I think that happening only made his push stronger. And I'm not saying that's what I want to happen. I'm not saying that's not what I want to happen. I'm just telling you unbiasedly, based on what I'm seeing transpire, it's going to help him in his run for the White House tremendously. After everything else that's happened, it just makes him look it makes him look like a badass. It makes him look like Teflon. Teflon Don. That's what they call him. Teflon Don. I don't know. That's all I got to say about that. Like, that's just what I see happening. And so, there you go. That is what it is. So yeah. Again, thoughts to the families of the people of the gentleman that was killed, and to the two others that are critically wounded, and thoughts to the former president and his family. You know, that was almost that's, you never want to see somebody die. And God, dude, I have not seen this, so I'm not speaking as that this is happening, but you know for a fact there are super strong, like super hardcore left-wing Democrats out there that are like that were rooting for that to happen, or they were rooting for him to have died yesterday, and that's just sick. Like, I would, no matter who you are, as far as like, as long as you're not a dictator or, you know, a horrible person that's killing people, and of course people are going to be like, well, he basically is that. Come on, give me a break. Not even close to like how like a Gaddafi or Saddam Hussein, not to those levels remotely. So anybody who tries to say that can just fuck off. Like, that's absurd. And anybody out there, if you're somebody out there that genuinely thought, like, you were genuinely bummed out that shooter failed in murdering somebody, like, that is fucked up, and you need to seek some fucking help, because that's to ever wish death upon anybody, really, is just sickening. And I get that they're like murderers and rapists and you know, there's a lot of sick people out there that probably should be killed. It just seems crazy to even wish death upon anybody. Like, yeah, there's certain people that we can like just turn the other way and not really bat an eye about, you know. Like I said, there's a lot of horrendous people out there. But I think it's just crazy that people will actually put politicians' names in the same boat as, like, you know, child predators and things like that. Even though, you know, obviously we could dive down in a completely different rabbit hole with that one. And, you know, maybe we could make some obvious, maybe there is room for some leeway on what I just said. But it still just seems crazy to wish death on anybody, especially somebody that you disagree with. Anyway, I'm done talking about that. Speaking of another American story that involves shooting and apparently not doing, you know, apparently failing at that, is Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard has backed out of the U.S. men's Olympic team. And to no surprise, I don't think, to anybody, that why he was even put on that team stuns me. This is a guy that hasn't played a full season in the last 6 years, something like that. He's always load managing. He has been disastrous in the playoffs. He crumbles under pressure anymore. They've absolutely loaded him up with the best players. They've tried to stack teams for him, and they've done nothing. The what the Clippers tried to do with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and all that is an absolute failure. Like, it has to be chalked down as one of the greatest failures in at least NBA history. They spent so much money and traded so many picks and so many players. Like, they had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was an MVP candidate last year, and they traded him away for Paul George, and now Paul George is gone. And now they just have Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, two of the biggest choke artists in playoff history. Now, I shouldn't really put Kawhi in that list, only because he has had some pretty epic playoff moments, and he was, in fact, Finals MVP, I think, twice. So I can't completely throw him in that category. James Harden, I absolutely can. But lately, it's all about what have you done for me lately. And lately, Kawhi Leonard has not been... He's not been clutch in the playoffs. Or present at all, for that matter. So the fact that he backed out of the Olympics, disappointing for, I'm assuming, for the U.S. fans and the country, and it's just like, why'd you even accept? You should have just said no in the first place. He's always injury-ridden. The Kawhi, I'm going to tell you right now, the Kawhi Leonard story, it might honestly be one of the greatest downfalls a player has ever had. He was an absolute monster when he was with San Antonio. Even his time in Toronto, he was an absolute beast. Great defender, great shot maker. He was just an all-around great player. Like I said, 2-time NBA champion. I believe 2-time Finals MVP. I don't think he's ever won a league MVP. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think he has. I'm sure he's won Defensive Player of the Year before. I'd bet on that. And obviously been a multi-time All-Star. And yet, his decline has just been... I think, like I said, it might be one of the greatest downfalls in NBA history, if you ask me. But very disappointing to see that he's decided to back out of that. And so, is what it is. But thought I'd bring that up for a hot second there. What else is going on? Okay, so I'm not big in the gaming world, right? I'm not big into the streaming stuff. And I see I see stuff on TikTok and Instagram Reels and things like that. Like, I just see little clips here and there. I know a few of them just from that, but I don't follow any of these guys. I'm not subscribed. I don't get on streams. I don't really game that much. It's crazy because I used to game all the time. I used to love video games. It just kind of fell off for me. And so for anybody who is familiar with the streaming world, the video game streaming world, all that, you most likely know who Sketch is. So Sketch is a streamer. He plays Madden a lot. And he rose to fame very rapidly because he's kind of does goofy things. Like I said, I'm not overly familiar with a lot of these guys. I know he does the "What's up, brother?" and I know some of his little catchphrases and his little antics. Only because they just happen to pop up in my feed every now and again. So, Sketch, it came out. Somebody, I guess, dug this up and put it out there, exposed him, I suppose you could say, for having, before he became famous, he had an OnlyFans. And it was catered to men. It was a homosexual OnlyFans. I don't think anybody knew he was gay. I don't even know if he actually is gay, or if he was just making content for men. But it really sucks that somebody tried to out him like that, and tried to just bring him down in that way. And it's really sad to see his apology video. Because first of all, there's nothing to really apologize for. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything illegal. But he very much was ashamed of it. And the reason I say it was sad, and this is, again, a guy that I don't really know, right? But I just heard a lot of podcasts talking about this, and I saw the videos, and I've heard the whole story, right? The reason I say it was sad is because this is something that this kid did, I suppose, just to make some extra cash or something like that. He said he had addiction problems. I don't know what that entails. I don't know the details behind that. Whatever it was, it seems to be that he did this OnlyFans in order to gain some extra cash for whatever, whether it be to feed his addiction or to whatever. You know, or maybe he actually is closetedly gay, or maybe he's bi, or something like that. And he's just embarrassed to have been outed this way. Whatever it was, he basically said, without saying it, that he was always aware that this could possibly come out one day. And he said he thought that the day this came out, he was basically going to end his own life. He was going to... what do they say now? Unalive himself is the term they say. Because you can't say the S word here on YouTube. And so, like I said, it was just sad to see that you could tell in his voice and in his face. And kudos to him for actually coming out and being honest and saying, yeah, that was me. It wasn't a fake profile. It wasn't AI. I did that. I actually was that guy. He came out and admitted it. He faced it head on. And he was like, yeah, I'm super ashamed of this. I'm embarrassed that people know about this now. But I own it. I owned up to it. For anybody, and the fact that he was even saying for anybody who's upset about this and has a problem with this, I apologize to them. That's their own prerogative. You don't gotta apologize for that. You don't got to apologize for not doing anything illegal or anything wrong. And another shout out to all these other streamers that came to his defense, told the world how good of a guy he is, and just came to his backup, even though, because homophobia is pretty real, right? And what's wrong, even if he was gay, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. As long as he's not doing anything illegal or harmful to anybody else, then who gives a fuck? Let him have whatever preference he wants. Who cares if he had an OnlyFans? That's another thing that fucking pisses me off, is if it would have been a chick, if it would have been a girl streamer that gained some popularity for streaming, and then people found out she had an OnlyFans, she would have blown up 10 times more. And people would have loved her for it, and nobody would have, even though she might have been embarrassed by it, maybe she didn't want people to find out about it. Oh, she would have blown up even bigger. Nobody would, at the worst case, nobody would have shamed her for it. But yet, when it happens to a guy, they got to get shamed. Even though, I'm just grateful to see that there's a lot of good people out there that backed this dude up and stood up for him. And it just sucks when somebody has to get shamed almost to the point of ending their own life. And you know me, I'm somebody who is tremendously against suicide. I said it. Flag me, everybody. I'm speaking about it in a term of, we've had a lot of family members and friends in our lives that have unfortunately committed that act. And so I'm advocately against that. And I'm against anybody bullying somebody else into hating their life so much that they want to end it. And that was sad to me. But it was very cool to see that these other streamers came to his aid. So you gotta like that. What else? Okay. I've had this on my list of topics for a while. And I was gonna talk about it, and then it kind of fizzled out, and I was like, There was weeks that I was like, it's not even worth talking about this week, and then it kind of got old news, so I just kind of brushed it off to the side. But now, we've come to a breaking point. We've come to a point where it's time to address JoJo Siwa. Because JoJo Siwa has officially gone too far. Now, if you don't know who JoJo Siwa is, she was a child star. She was on, like, the Dance Mom show, and then grew up to be, like, a internet influencer. She was kind of that, like, cutesy Barbie girl type of thing. It was very, like, childlike stuff. A lot of pink and bright colors, and her whole thing was she wore a big bow. You know, I don't know. I don't really know anything about her aside from just what I've only recently kind of learned. And as of late, she has decided that she is going to be the next child star to basically blow up her former image and become the bad girl, and to be, you know, get wild and crazy. And now I'm an adult, so I cuss now, and I drink beer, and I, you know, shit like that. That's what a lot of these child stars do. They end up just going completely the opposite direction and trying to, like, destroy that child memory, or that child image of that they basically had of themselves, and be like, now I'm an adult. And of course she does it in the most bizarre way. It's very cringy, where she, you know, basically comes out looking like a member of Kiss, and her music video has a lot of sexual imagery, and now she's, like, apparently she's gay now. I don't know. None of that stuff really bothers me. It's just cringy. Like, that's whatever. All the trying to be crazy and look at me, I'm wild, I'm dark, I'm mysterious, I'm emo, I'm gay, I'm, you know, whatever. All that stuff, like, that means nothing to me. It's just cringy as all. That's basically what it is. The problem I have with everything that JoJo Siwa has done in her recent, like, coming out party, I guess you could say, and by that I'm just mostly referring to, like, while she apparently did come out as gay, when I refer to a coming out party for her, I'm referring to her coming into her new adult image. What I have the problem with is she puts out this new song, right? This new song of hers. I can't remember what it's called. Karma. It's not even her song. She had originally claimed it to be her song, that she had written it, or she had something to do with it. Technically, it is her song because she owns it, but it was recorded by another person long ago. They didn't change a single fucking thing about it, hardly. It's a complete rip. So for her to, like, try and come out and be like, this is my work of art, when she did nothing for it besides sing on the track, she didn't write the lyrics, she didn't write the music. There's nothing about that was her. It's not original, and I hate that. As a musician, as an artist, I hate plagiarism. And now, this is the straw that broke the camel's back for me. This is where you stepped over a line that you crossed the wrong line, okay? She just released a new logo that is an absolute ripoff of Tool. It's the old image with it's a wrench with two bolts, so it looks like a dick, and it says Tool down the wrench. She has the exact same logo, and it says JoJo going down the wrench. Look it up. Look at the side-by-side. Tell me it's not an exact ripoff of Tool. And my God, you can plagiarize whatever pop star you want. And I might not, like, I'm still offended by it. But you're crossing into my territory. You're crossing into metal and a band like Tool that should never be trifled with. You're gonna try and rip off Tool? Bitch, you have now entered the fucking Dragon's Lair. This is welcome to the Octagon, because it's on. I hate plagiarism. I hate people who take other people's work of art or other people's songs, whether it's physical art, anything like that. I hate when people take it and try and pass it off as their own. And the fact that she has proved to do this time and time again, now we're looking at, this is a consistent thing. And I'm putting it out there right now. JoJo Siwa, it needs to stop. You're done with it. We're done. We're done with this bullshit, and it's absolute bullshit. All right. Oh God, I don't even know where to go from here. Honestly, I had some other stuff written down, but we're getting toward the end here. So we'll just wrap it up, huh? We'll just do a quick recap, wrap up, because I don't know what else I even wanted to talk about with that. I was going to talk about how crazy it is that people who fuck around with wild animals, right? And, but what do I even want to say about that? There's nothing I want to say. The only person I want to see fucking around with a wild animal right now is JoJo Siwa. So, go hang out with the Ruskies in Russia and play with some bears, or go to... Have you ever seen these videos of people in, like, they're like, I don't know if they're Saudi. I think they're Saudi or, like, the United Arab Emirates type places where they got all this cash and they're just chilling on a couch with a white tiger. Like, do you know how crazy that is? Some of these, like, that shit's crazy. And then you got these Russians that are just, like, chilling with bears, and it boggles my mind. Like, wild animals are not to be trifled with. And then, yeah. No, I that shit just blows my mind. So I guess I wrote that down. I didn't have anything to talk about with that. So it's just funny when people fuck with wild animals. It's even funnier when people fuck with wild animals at like in the wild. Like, I mean, that's one thing. Those animals are trained, even though they will still maul you to death. Just ask Roy. But when people like go fuck with bison or with just animals in the wild, it's like, yeah, what do you expect? It's a wild animal. Don't go fuck with it. Don't go try and pet it. Don't go try and take a picture with it. It's a wild animal. It's gonna kill you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me this week. Much appreciation to you all. Think about your time. Be conscious, be mindful of your time. Don't waste your time, because, like that dude, you never know. You show up at a Trump rally or wherever, you never know where you show up anywhere, and some fucking psycho comes along and kills you or kills your family member, and, time gets cut short sometimes. You lose time with your friends, your family. Sometimes your friends move away. Sometimes, just be appreciative of that time. Make sure to be conscious of the time that you are currently spending with your friends and family, because you never know when that's going to be done. You never know when your time is going to be done. So use your time wisely. Be productive. Don't waste your time. Not like me. Don't waste your time like me being a fat load, watching sports and drinking booze. And make sure to fat shame me. Let me know about it, If you're going to spend time doing anything, just send some hate my way. Call me a pig, call me a fat slob, whatever you got to do, because maybe that's what's going to kick me into gear, because I am the pale whale. But most importantly, don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it. Just gotta keep on keeping on.
garden, dig it?